The biggest turn in my life was my participation to the 15th Tchaikovsky Competition. I could not imagine some years before that I will take part to this event, and I could not imagine when I arrived in Moscow on the 9th of June on 2015 that I would make the finals. It was absolutely impossible to imagine. I remember very well when I arrived. It was wonderful weather in Moscow, and I felt for the first time after a long time, I felt somehow free. Free to do whatever I want, to play the music I love to play. And I had this live pre-selection round, so we were 60 candidates. I took it really easy. I was not stressed at all. I was enjoying the weather. I was practicing a bit, but not like widely. When I was accepted to the first round, something changed completely, and I started realizing what was happening. I remember like rewriting my Prelude and Fugue by Bach and transposing it in all the keys, just to have it clearly in mind. I remember spending a crazy time on the studies as well to really make it as clear as possible, to work in many ways, like faster, slower in other keys and things like that. I remember being still preoccupied by my life in Paris. I just received by mail a crazy fee to pay for my electricity, and I remember before starting playing the second round I was just thinking about this fee. What is very special with the second round is that you have the choice of the program. So I decided to perform, to prepare one piece that is like a very, very famous challenge for pianists, the Ravel Gaspard de la Nuit, and one piece that is really not famous, the very first sonata for piano by Nikolai Medtner. And it was interesting for me to balance a French part of the program together with a Russian part of it. These two pieces, I felt already very comfortable with them. I think it's not a matter of technical difficulties. The main point is how comfortable and how familiar you feel with some pieces. And then, when for the second round I approached the piano, I thought that I just cannot do it. I learned that I have to play just the night before. And I see the keys and I just say to myself, no, I cannot do it. It's impossible. It's too long, it's too difficult. I have no idea how I can make something like that. And I started to play the Medtner. I was very, very nervous. And then there is a repetition at the beginning of the first movement. So when I played the introduction for the second time, I started to feel more comfortable. I started to listen, and then I started to feel okay to play. And then I just let myself go. It was one of the very last time when I let myself go. So apparently something happened during my second round and after the second round. But if I am completely honest, I would say that I was really disappointed by my performance, and I was so much in my bubble and in my world that I just quit the stage and I went to my teacher, and I didn't realize what was going on around this performance. Because for me, I did nothing special. I was capable of doing much more. I did my best, but for me it was still not what I wanted to do. It was not that much precise, there were some mistakes that I felt really ridiculous about. So sometimes there are these things that happen, and now I am quite used to it after touring for 2 years, is that you have a feeling during a concert, and the impression that the audience gets is completely different. When I performed for the Tchaikovsky, I was just, and I remember also before playing the Mozart concerto, I was just working, I don't remember, something impossible, like always in Mozart, something like this, and I just, my fingers just could not move playing something like that, and I was just looking at my teacher Rena and saying, how can I make it? And she just smiled and said to me, no, durak, she said to me in Russian. And you just have to be in the music, in the sound, and let go. So it went very well, and I felt happy to play this Mozart. Well, it's very difficult for me to talk about the finals of this competition because obviously it was a very weird experience for me. I didn't have that much experience with orchestra, but there were a lot of things written on this that are quite nasty probably, but for sure unfair. Lucas is not prepared because he has not worked with orchestra, but what are they talking about? It's all about the music. Being professional, playing chamber music, playing solo recitals, playing with orchestra has only to do with a way of working and a way of preparing the interpretation. And then when the music is here, everyone can be in the music. A single people of the orchestra and the conductor and everything works. But at that moment in the finals of the Tchaikovsky competition, something went wrong probably. Even though I am still convinced by what I did, and I was really prepared on the concertos, even if I was really tired and exhausted, absolutely. But what I did musically, because everyone speaks about the technique, but the most important thing is what you do with the music. Of course, with such a piece as the Tchaikovsky First Concerto, everyone expects something, because there is a so-called tradition of playing it, a tradition of fingering and so. For me, there is no tradition. The only tradition is the score, and the score of Tchaikovsky. Tchaikovsky was a romantic composer, and there is a lyric blood, there is something, a lyric energy to find with this concerto. It's not only bombastic. Probably my vision of the thing didn't fit exactly with the requirements of the competition, but I am still very happy to have made it, to have made the finals, and to have kept myself strong enough to go till the end, and then to play the gala concerts, and then to have, thanks to Mr. Gergiev, my first recital in Mariinsky on the French National Day, on July 14th. The presence of Medici on the spot in the Moscow Conservatory, and all this filming team and this organization and everything made this competition really be part of history, but part of the whole music world history. And I am very, very grateful to that, to Maestro Gergiev, to the organization of the competition, and to Medici to made it possible, because it's really something precious now. And it's good that it doesn't disappear like everything nowadays. Everything just comes on the surface and then disappears. So it's good if we can keep something, at least.